Welcome to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and click that like button. Thanks for joining us for another edition of the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. This is the marvelous one, back at it again with Don and Philosophical. Today we're going to discuss the AFC West and give our predictions on the upcoming season. To give you some insight, AFC West, as we all know, was won by the Kansas City Chiefs. They won the division, and they won the Super Bowl at 14-3. The Chargers came in second in that division at 10-7. Then we had the Raiders, which surprised me. I didn't realize the Raiders were third at 6-11. And then the Broncos finished out at 5-12. Now, when I looked at it, it was just like they kind of had it easy. They played the AFC South and the NFC West. So they kind of had a cupcake schedule, especially the Chiefs. Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So, well, we'll get into it. But I mean, but before we move on to our predictions and everything, well, what you guys think about Dalvin Cook signing with the Jets and Zeke Elliott going to the Patriots? Does that change your picks from the AFC East?
I had the Jets in second anyway. So I kind of stand by that. I think they're going to stay right there at second. I think it's a good move. It's an Aaron Rodgers type move. They're just loading up. Their defense is looking strong, and they loading up on offense. So
Okay.
I think they'll still be second.
So Don, does Zeke Elliott say?
No, it don't change nothing. He don't change the damn thing. He don't change his goddamn thing.
No, he don't change nothing. But that's all good. But I'm wondering if Zeke Elliott saves Bill Belichick's job. You said Bill Belichick is losing his job.
Hey, both of them gonna get fired. Both of them gonna get fired. Zeke gonna be looking for another team next year, and
this doesn't say Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's on the hot seat. A 7-time Super Bowl winning head coach. I'm sorry, not 7. What is it? 8?
6. Oh, 8.
I'm counting the times with the Giants.
Okay.
So, yeah, Don wants to say the man's on the hot seat.
Don is saying that he is on the hot seat.
He's going to break that. He's going to break that record. So,
You going to break that record? Where? In Tecmo Bowl or goddamn on Xbox? He's not going to be playing with the Patriots, man. He going home, man.
All right,
he
man.
going home. He ain't going to want to go nowhere and start nowhere else.
So this doesn't change anything for you?
Payton in him.
Doesn't change anything for you.
So I'm gonna tell you like this. It looks good for the Jets. Let's not.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, even though the Jets were looking good because they had a solid three-man monster, I think it's going to create some disharmony within the locker room, meaning that in the quarterback room. But that's for them to figure out. Now here's the other part, Marv, is that when you look at the schedule doesn't change. They still got the Bills, still got Dallas, and still got the KC, and then they're gonna play up in Mile High, but then they got Philly, Giants, man. I mean, the schedule doesn't change. That's the one thing that does not change for the Jets. So the first 6 games, I got it. They better find that rhythm, because if they don't, they're gonna make a muscle move for nothing.
So this doesn't get them above the Bills, because you had the Jets coming in second, right?
That's correct. And I mean, no, I had them coming in third. I didn't have them coming ahead of
Miami.
Miami.
Oh, okay.
No.
So it doesn't pull them ahead of Miami. Doesn't pull them ahead of Miami.
No.
Okay.
No. And we talking about, and listen, and I'm not going to wish nothing bad on Tua. But when Tua
you don't
was
have
in,
to.
like we talked about it, when Tua was in the game, they were legit.
Yeah. When
they lit up the field, and I got it. Dude can't throw over 20 yards. So what?
I'm just saying, you giving all these qualifiers here. If, when, maybe, but.
No, that's you. Because I'm calling like Tua is healthy. Until he showed me that he's not on the field, I got him in second place.
Okay, all right. Well, Phil had him winning the division, so it doesn't change.
I got the Dolphins winning the division,
and this doesn't put the Jets above the Dolphins.
No.
Okay.
I think this takes some games away from the Bills.
So now the Bills are going to be 6-11.
No,
right?
No. You guys had them winning 12 and games respectively. I seriously
you had them winning 8.
I got them winning 8, so that brings it down to about 8. The Jets are better. Miami is good. That's a little bit realistic. Come on now.
The Bills own
Jets,
this, and I'm not going to repeat.
that Dalvin Cook signing makes them better than the Bills.
Oh my God!
If Dalvin Cook was that valuable, why did you let him go?
Well, because Madison is cheaper.
Madison
and just as good.
Yeah.
And just as good. That's why they had to let him go.
I told you before.
To
a contract.
If you have two, you have hold on. When it comes down to running backs, you're right. Go ahead.
Running backs are their worst enemy. They're beating out each other. That's what's happening.
And they wasn't going to sign Dalvin Cook and turn around and come back and sign Madison again.
Exactly.
And see, here's my thing. If you have two, you have one. And if you have one, you have none.
Well, the Jets have 3
That's how the running back situation runs.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to have multiple running backs that can chalk up yards.
But teams aren't willing to pay 2 running backs big money. They're only going to pay one of them. And then they're going to have some young guy behind him ready to replace him. That's how it works.
Because it's cheap.
Yep. And then there's always some young one coming out of, in the 3rd or 4th round, like Kareem Hunt, that can produce just as well as the guy that's making all the money. Yeah. Especially the guy that's making all the money that's in his late 20s. Because, once a running back gets to 30, they become old men some kind of way. I don't know. I've figured that out.
But what you're saying is kind of true, Marv, because, if you look at it, it's going back to the old days where if you put that money on that line, you really put the money on the line.
Yeah.
I could have ran behind that line Emmett had.
No, well, think about the line.
Emmett's sitting 6 yards deep, and they pushed the line of scrimmage 6 yards back. That's 12 years. That's 12 yards before you get touched.
And here's a perfect example, because Emmett was still good. But here's a perfect example of a team that just threw anybody back there. I don't know if y'all remember the Mike Shanahan Denver Broncos when they went from like Mike Anderson to Gary Orlando. I can't even remember some of these guys. Now, it was some random dudes they would just throw back there when Terrell Davis got hurt.
was back there too, I think, right?
Remember, Terrell Davis was like a 6th, 7th round draft pick that was on special teams. They threw back there. He became a Hall of Famer, and they just threw anybody back there that rushed for 1,000 yards.
It was mad. It was mad crazy.
Yeah.
So you're telling me this Dalvin Cook signing does not make them better than the Bills?
No, still doesn't make them better.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Better defense than the Bills. Now they got a better running game than the Bills.
They give the Bills a run for their money, but they're not better than the Bills. I told you the Jets are coming second. Trust me.
Okay. All right.
I told you Jets gonna come in 3rd.
All right. Well, let's hear your crazy predictions for the AFC West. Please tell me that the Denver Broncos are going to win the AFC West, Phil. Please tell me that. Go.
Well, of course, the Chiefs are going to come and win this division.
Oh, okay. I thought you was going to make a bold move here. Come on, man.
No bold moves. The AFC West play the AFC North. They play the AFC South and the NFC North this year. So I have the Chiefs, who are also the Super Bowl champions, are winning 12 games this year.
Wait. Whoa. They played the NFC North and the AFC East this season.
The Chiefs? Chiefs, Lions, Jaguars, Bears, Jets, Vikings, Broncos. So where are you seeing that at?
They don't play the Bills, Jets.
Okay.
Dolphins.
Okay, they do. Yes. Okay,
Patriots.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, yes, AFC East also. But still, 12 games.
Where Phil was wrong.
Well, hey. 12 games. So they will win 12 games.
Do your homework.
I did my homework. I saw them on the schedule. I didn't see they're actually at the bottom of the schedule, actually. So the Chiefs will win 12 games coming in first. Self-explanatory. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback there. It says no Andy Reid. No more to explain that. Coming in second, I was rooting for the Broncos last year. You know,
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel like they're 1 year away. I think
Mm.
Russell Wilson is I think he's gonna struggle this year. Offensive line is struggling,
Mm.
but I'm gonna pick the Chargers in second here. Uh I don't like their coaching staff, and I've made that very evident on this show. I don't like their coaching staff, but I like Kellen Moore. I like Justin Herbert. We're going to see what goes on with this Austin Eckler situation. They've got wide receivers, that defense is coming together, and I think they're hungry based off of that playoff loss they had last year. So I have the Chargers coming in second with 9 wins, actually.
Mm.
Broncos, as I said before, I like their coaching. I like Sean Payton. They've made some moves. I don't like the offensive line. Russell Wilson, I think, is going to struggle. Um, their defense is a little bit, a work in progress. I think they'll win 8 games though. I like Sean Payton. I think they'll eventually fix it, but I think they will barely miss the playoffs this year. They'll win 8 games. And fourth team in this division will be the Raiders. I think they will be the worst team in the league. I think they're tanking for a quarterback. I don't think Josh McDaniels is a good coach. Their defense is a mess. Josh Jacobs, we're going to see if they sign him to a new deal, if he's going to return. Garoppolo is going to, I'm not sure if he's playing the first week. He's going to get hurt. He's hurt right now. Like I said, defense is looking bad. Devontae Adams is complaining. Just a host of things going on in Vegas I don't like. And I have them winning 5 games this year, if not less. So that's what I have. Chiefs with 12, Chargers with 9, Broncos with 8, and the Raiders with 5 this year. That is my predictions.
Okay, well, here's my prediction.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs will be a Raider. I mean, he can't go anywhere else. He's not going anywhere else. He'll be a Raider. He'll be playing.
You haven't played first week?
Absolutely.
He hasn't even reported to training camp.
That's okay. He'll be ready.
Okay. He doesn't look ready as far as his Instagram. He's over on vacations across the island somewhere. He don't look ready.
He was the league's leading rusher last season.
I agree.
He deserves a vacation.
And this is how you gain leverage, Saquon Barkley. This is how you gain leverage. Take notes.
Yeah, take notes. Sit out the entire season.
Take notes.
But if he's watching preseason and there's some young running back that's putting up good numbers, he'll be back. Told you, they're their own worst enemy. Don, go ahead, man. I'll let you go next, and of course I'll clean up everything once you're done.
And once again, you ain't gonna clean up nothing. Just gonna put that on there. Moving forward, mute your mics, please. Thank you. I got the floor. I got KC doing their job. They did pretty good last year, 14-3, as you said before, Marv. I got them going 12-5, and here's why. They're gonna start off a little bit tough. But before I get into that, let's talk about Kansas City. I think that they was the best team last year, and that means that they should be strongly favored to return to the AFC Championship. But I don't have them winning, so I'll pause right there.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. Moving forward, while the Chiefs, they had a great offense, the defense was rather youthful, and I think that that's going to be one thing to look at as they try to progress through the season. They had the youngest defense in the NFL last year, but they still hosted up the Lombardi Trophy. I think they were battle tested, but I think that the offense, held them strong throughout the whole year. I want to see how they grow and see how the maturation go, because if you look at KC, the Chiefs start off tough, and they can go the first 10 games 7-3 or 6-4. Detroit, uh, they got Detroit, they got Jaguars, then they got Chicago. They bump into the Jets, Denver, and then they got those Chargers. Then they got Denver, Miami, and then Philly. So they close out real tough because they close out at Mile High, but then they play 2 home games. But them 2 home games gonna be tough because they play against Miami and they play against Philadelphia. So those are 3 losses. If they don't go 7-0 off the rip, that's why I said that they're gonna need all the firepower that they can have, and that and that defense is going to get stress test And I
Mhm.
want to see how they gel, because if they don't gel by the seventh game and they get 2 losses, they can start off real rough in the season. So that's why I had them dropping back,
Yeah.
2 games out of that. Uh, Looking at how they moving forward, I still think that they are full, you know, offensively, they still got the greatest quarterback in the NFL, top quarterback. I mean, it, it's no discussing that. So even with that, I think the tough schedule, I think that they should be able to win first place easily within that. Now the Chargers, I got them being 11-7, even though they were 11-6, even though they were 10-7 last year, but they had an injury plagued season, and they had a terrible offensive coordinator, and they had poor quarterback execution. I'm just not going to say that they had, just one. No, that's a marriage. An offensive coordinator and a quarterback is a marriage. So I think that's one of the things that kind of hurt them. But I think that they got a new offensive coordinator and Mr. Moore. So I think him taking over and bringing that new playbook into the atmosphere, it's going to be a huge learning curve. But I think they can work through it and make him a better quarterback. But I still think that they have one of the toughest. They have still a average defense, but how fast they click it on will determine how far they go. So that's why I have them doing it. And at the same time, they got a pretty a chill schedule going on in the first 10 games. First 10 games is one of the benchmarks till we get to the later part of the season, and I got them going 8-2 or 7-3 out of that. I know they start off with a tough one in Miami, but then Tennessee, Minnesota, Raiders, Dallas, KC, Chicago, Jets, then Detroit, then Green Bay. I mean, that's a pretty decent schedule for them to come out with an 8-2 or 7-3 record. Looking at next, I would move on to number 3, and that was a toss up. But I go with the Broncos, and I give the Broncos kudos for making a bold statement and going and getting a, a offensive juggernaut in Peyton. The Broncos had one of the worst coaching situations that I've seen in a long time, and I think Russell Westbrook had one of the worst
Wilson.
quarterback
Wilson.
plays that I've ever seen. Which resulted in them producing a terrible record. So, like I said before, offense, the coaching, the head coaching, offensive coordinator as well as the quarterback, that's a marriage. But Sean, he's been ordained the quarterback whisperer, and he's supposed to be the savior that's supposed to propel them back to greatness. Not, it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I mean, they don't have. I mean, they're under the impression from Broncos fans. They think that Sean, even though Sean, you're going on his past record. He has an extensive resume. Let's not even talk about that. Top 5 offensive, as far as the offensive juggernaut. When he had Drew Brees, and then he had Drew Brees when he didn't have that great arm strength, but he dialed up the right plays in order to make things happen. He's thinking that you know Russ and letting him cook by him being, better than Drew in his latter years, and they're doing that crazy comparison. This is Broncos fans. This is me speaking as Broncos, but I think that's a crazy comparison. And also, Broncos fans think that they have enough blue chip young talent on both sides of the ball in order to be competitive in the 2003 year. And I'm just saying, from my perspective, I think that the first 6 weeks would tell me whether Sean let Russ cook. Because like I said before, the Miami Chiefs, Jets, the Raiders, they got a real tough schedule coming up. And I think it's just not gonna work out for them in the long run. I think they probably start the first 10 games out 3-7, 4-6. And that's a losing season to me, because now you're gonna go into the ladder. Now you're gonna ask yourself, "Am I gonna play?" I'm not gonna make the playoffs, but if I'm not gonna make the playoffs, I should get better draft position. So I think they're gonna be left with that dilemma, and then that's where the GM is gonna be making calls rather than the coach on the field, because that's the either we gonna make a run for the playoffs or we gonna make a run for the draft. And I think the first 10 games is when you get to make those type of choices.
Yep.
The Las Vegas Raiders, I break them out of even. They're gonna do the same thing they did last year. 5-12, 5-12. Trash in, trash out. Same. Even though they think they got rid of Derek Carr and they said that he was injury prone, and he wasn't able to be productive, but they went out and got Jimmy. So guess what? You didn't do nothing, and essentially you didn't even do anything to address one of the worst defenses that was on the football field last year. And then you expect, Jimmy to come in and be able to execute under Josh Daniels, and Josh Daniels haven't done nothing since he left the Patriots. I don't know how he keep on getting jobs and keeping jobs, but it worked out like that. So the big question mark is Jimmy gonna be able to stay healthy out the year? But I think it's gonna be the same old, trash in, trash out. I yield my time back to you, Marv.
All right. So you got the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders.
Correct, Mundo.
Any predictions on these records?
As I told you, just start from the bottom. 5. The Raiders trash in, trash out. Saints ain't 5-12. Moving in number 3. I got Denver going 7-10, and that's being nice. That's because I like Sean. That's but if I'm being real, they can go on. Like I said, that first 6 games is going to tell me whether they, did anything work with the quarterback whisperer. I don't think so. And then, like I said, the Chargers, they got new offense, but I think that offensive coordinator is going to be able to call the right plays. And I think that, those type of things are going to be able to propel them. I got them going 6-11. And like I said, the Chiefs, they're going to go 2 back from last year because of a tough schedule. They're not going to run the table and go 14-3. They probably go 12-5. I'll give them that.
So what did you say the Chargers are going?
Oh, the Chargers going 11-6.
Oh, 11-6.
Yeah.
I thought you said 6-11. All right, 11-6.
Yeah.
I will say this about the Chargers. I really think them firing that offensive coordinator, that coach is on the hot seat. So I don't think that this was something that was like a quarterback tied to the offensive coordinator. I think this was a coach making a move to try to put in the scapegoat. So he's on the hot seat this year. If they don't make the playoffs and they have a bad year, or they start off 1-4 or 2-5, something like that, he's canned. He's out of there.
So do you start looking at the quarterback? Because I mean, you can only change so many things.
Justin Herbert, they just signed him to a new contract. He's not going anywhere. So if anything, that coach is going somewhere.
Yep.
So the complaints about him not making adjustments, that bad playoff performance last year. So he's on. I
didn't say he was going anywhere. I said, do we start looking at him?
Nope.
No. It's not.
He's your franchise.
He's putting up good numbers with bad offensive coordinator, supposedly, and a bad coach. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Do you yield back your time, gentlemen from Baltimore?
Yield back my time.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I yield back. I yield back my time.
All right. Well, look, let me go and clean this up. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised from you, Phil. You had me going with the Broncos. I even jumped on the bandwagon, but I'm surprised.
I don't like what I see out of the offensive line. I don't like what I see out of Russell. He looks way uncomfortable back there.
Phil, all right. Let me just start this off. All right. Okay. So this division played a weak schedule last season. They had the AFC South. They had the Texans. They had the Colts. They had the Titans when the Titans went on like a 7-game losing streak. They played a weak schedule. They had the Cardinals. They had the Rams without Stafford. They played cupcakes last season, and that allowed
this season.
Not so much. But that's how the Chiefs won 14-3, and it's a shame that the Chargers only won 10 games. Playing all these cupcakes.
Greatest quarterback.
Pull on that thread, Mark. Keep going.
They played a bunch of cupcakes, and all they won was 10 games. Really? The Chiefs won 14 games playing all these cupcakes, and they lost one of them to the Colts. That's the crazy part about it. So that makes me question.
Greatest quarterback and a great coach.
The Chargers coaching staff. That makes me question them. Right?
I agree.
Now, the Chiefs won 14 games playing all these cupcakes. Yeah, they're supposed to.
Greatest coach and the greatest quarterback.
I got it, man. But listen to me. Listen to me. You're supposed to beat the teams. You're supposed to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Beat them. You know what I'm saying? If you beat the teams that's on your schedule that you're supposed to beat them, supposed to beat, you'll be in the playoffs every year. So I think this year the Chiefs are going to take a step back because the schedule is harder. The schedule is harder. Interconference play, they play the NFC North. So they got a tougher schedule. Intra-conference play, they play the AFC East. So they got the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. So that's a tougher schedule. And the 17th game is against the NFC East. So they're going to match up with the teams that they match up with in that division. So I got the Chiefs winning 11 games. I got them taking a step back. This schedule is tough. They got the Bills, Bengals, Jets, Vikings. And I don't think they did anything to improve that defense. This is all Patrick Mahomes. All Patrick Mahomes. He's going to have to do it all by himself along with Kelsey.
Did you see what he did last year?
I know what he did last year. He played a bunch of cupcakes. So 11-5. I got the Chiefs. Still winning the division.
Keep going. I like it. Keep going.
Still winning the division. I think it's impressive. You're not gonna like this. You ain't gonna like this pick, Don. Surprisingly, I got the Broncos coming in second.
I knew you was gonna do it. You Sean Payton lover.
No,
the Denver Saints.
They are the Denver Saints. They are the Denver Saints. and I think that allows for a lot of continuity with the team. Sean Payton is coming in, and originally I said, well, it's going to be tough on him to kind of figure this out the first year. And then I looked at the roster. Then I looked at the coaching staff. It's like, damn, this looks like the Saints. We got like 3-4. They have 3-4 players that played with the Saints last season. They got like a bunch of coaches that coached with the Saints last season. So he just basically brought the Saints to Denver, right? And Sean Payton is very good about putting his quarterbacks in position to succeed. I know I talk about this guy a lot, but I'm going to mention it. Jameis Winston. When he coached Jameis Winston, the Saints were 5-2, right? And he did everything possible to protect this dude from himself. Like literally. I mean, he had a game where he threw for less than 100 yards in the game and we won. He did everything he could to protect this dude from himself, from screwing it up. And he'll do the same for Russ. And Russ is not bad. He's going to put Russ in the position to succeed in Denver. So when I look at the schedule, you got to think about this too.
Go.
The Broncos had they were last placed in this division. So they get a last place schedule. So they get teams like the Browns, the Texans, and the Commanders. That's on their schedule.
The Browns are going to be tougher. Stop it.
The Browns will be tougher than the Ravens, Bengals, and I mean, they wouldn't be as tough as the Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers. So they're getting the easiest part of the schedule than the other teams are. Because the Chiefs have to play the Bengals, the Chargers have to play the Ravens, and the Raiders, well, nobody's really talking about the Raiders anyway, but they're going to have to play the Steelers. So the Broncos get the easy one, the easy game. The Chiefs got to play the Jaguars. The Broncos get to play the Texans. So their schedule is easier. I got the Broncos winning 9 games, 9-8. I'm taking the over on this. Let's go back to this. So the Broncos over and under is 8.5. And I forgot to mention the Chiefs over and under is 11.5. So I went the under with the Chiefs, which is slight. But yeah, Vegas has the Chiefs winning 11.5 games. So I think that's about right. Broncos, I got them winning over.
Yeah, I had the under. I had the under 8 games.
For the Chiefs or the Broncos?
Broncos.
Okay, yeah, you took the under. I took the over on that. So now
I took the under. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing about the Chargers. I like the move of getting Kellen Moore. I like the fact that now Brandon Staley can focus on improving that defense. I think they're a good team, but they're in a tough division and they got a tough schedule. Like I said, they got the Ravens, They got the Cowboys. They play the Vikings. And plus, they already got the Jets, Bills, and Chiefs. All the teams got the Jets, Bills, and Chiefs. But it's a tough schedule. And I got them going 8-9. I'm taking the under because the over and under on them is 9.5. But I'm going to take the under on this. I'm just not convinced.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Not convinced. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's a great player. I think they got a lot of good talent on his team. I just don't think they got the right head coach.
I agree.
Are you serious?
I agree with that.
Hold on. You got them going what? Say that number again.
8-9.
Stop it.
I'm just not. All of this talent, and you're struggling to win 10 games.
Well, I want to be a little bit of the voice of reason here, right?
Go ahead.
You mentioned cupcakes last year, and so I'm getting ready to call out this bakery that you're speaking about, right? Let's just speak about last year's schedule, right? Of the Chiefs. You said the Chiefs beat Cupcakes last year, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the schedule. It ain't Cupcake schedule, right? Cardinals, okay, Cupcakes. Chargers, playoff team. Colts, Cupcakes. Bucks, playoff team. Raiders,
Cupcake. 8-9 playoff team.
No, it's still made the playoffs. Still made the playoffs.
Stop it.
Still made the playoffs.
Because somebody had to make it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Technicality.
Woulda, shoulda, when, could, if, whenever. You did that with, no. We're not going to do that here. Bucks, playoff team. Raiders, okay, Cupcake. Then this is where the schedule starts. Bills, 49ers, Titans, Jaguars, Chargers. Those are playoff teams.
Titans were not a playoff team.
Other than the Titans.
And they lost their starting quarterback. Hey.
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it.
All right, Phil.
Stop it.
I like to reclaim my time.
I'm just saying. This ain't wasn't a cupcake
I would like to reclaim my time.
It wasn't a cupcake schedule.
Cupcakes. It was a cupcake schedule. You named the 8-9 Bucks team that got to the playoffs off a technicality because somebody from the division needed to go.
All of you guys went 8-9 in that division, so they had to go.
No, the rest of us went 7-10.
It's still a playoff team. Still a playoff. Somebody's got to win that division. Still a playoff team.
Anyway,
and you had the greatest quarterback.
I would like to reclaim my time.
Go ahead, sir. Just be reasonable. A little bit more reasonable in your take, Tom, sir.
Anyway, as I say, Vegas must be on the same page with me because they got them winning 11.5. So
the Chargers?
No, the Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah, and they have the Chargers winning less games than they won last season. Why is that? Because the schedule is tougher. And as I was saying, Chargers 8-9. So I got them finish the season. I'm taking the under on it.
Why don't you like
over and under is 9.5. So I'm going Chargers 8-9.
Why don't you like the Chargers?
Raiders, I got going 6-11. I'm taking the under on them. Too much transition with the Raiders. A lot of changes there, new quarterback. It's just tough for me to see them winning more than 7.5 games because that's the over and under. So I'm taking the under on them. Not convinced on the roster, and I think their schedule is tough. They got a third place schedule, so they take on the Steelers and the Giants, teams that the Broncos do not have to play. So with that, that's
do you think Jimmy's going to stay healthy?
Do I think Jimmy's going to stay healthy? Has Jimmy ever stayed healthy? No.
I think he's hurt now. So how
you got him winning 7 games then, Marv?
No, 6.
How do you got him winning 7 games?
With Jared Stidham?
6-11.
Jared Stidham?
6-11.
6-11.
Explain to me why you don't like the Chargers.
Why I don't like the Chargers?
Yeah, what's your rebuttal on that?
Well, I would love to hear your rebuttal on this.
I already explained it. I already explained why I don't like the Chargers.
Yeah, but you said
you
that.
Explained it well enough.
Yeah, but you said they got an offensive coordinator. He can focus on the offense, and the head coach can focus on the defense.
That's true.
So
I said that the schedule is tough. They got a juggernaut in their division that they have to face twice. Then they bring on the Ravens. Then they bring on the Vikings. Then they bring on the Cowboys. They got a tough schedule. It's not It's not to say, once again, this is not saying that the Broncos are a better team. That if the Broncos and the Chargers played each other 17 times in the season, that the Chargers wouldn't have more wins than the Broncos. That's not to say that. This is to say the way the schedule is laid out, the Broncos have more cupcakes. And the Broncos' chances of winning more games than the Chargers are better.
Well, who's to determine the cupcakes? Season hasn't started yet.
No, it hasn't started.
Your validity of cupcakes is a little bit questionable because the Chiefs didn't play any cupcakes last year. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The Broncos right now have a weak offensive line. Russell Wilson is struggling, and they got a new playbook. That's not a good recipe for a good season. The Chargers, they got an offensive coordinator to focus on the offense, a defensive coach to focus on the defense, and they have an ascending quarterback.
They do have a very good quarterback. And Russell Wilson had a bad situation last year with a bad coach.
Correct.
It was not a good situation. I told you before, Sean Payton is going to put him in position to succeed. They've made a lot of investments in that offensive line, and they got some talented receivers there. He's going to put him in position to succeed.
So this is where I disagree because everybody thinks that Sean Payton going to be the quarterback whisperer. Well, why didn't he whisper in New Orleans? I'll pause.
I told you why he didn't whisper.
He made some questionable quarterback moves in New Orleans.
No, I think he put. Now, a lot of people disagree with this, but I thought he put the Saints in position for their quarterback of the future. Here's why. They had Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater played well. Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 as the Saints starting quarterback when Drew Brees went down. He had us in position. Teddy Bridgewater could have been our starting quarterback. GM disagreed. So the following season, they bring in Jameis Winston. Drew Brees goes down again. Sean Payton made the unpopular decision of putting Taysom Hill as the starting quarterback. Dude went 3-1. Following season, went 4-1 with it. The GM doesn't like that. GM didn't like it. Jameis Winston became the starting quarterback. That was, and Sean Payton somehow inexplicably retires. How do you call that retiring when you have every intentions on coming back? He didn't retire. He quit.
It's the same situation though in Denver, right? He's got a GM that's got to say you got to make Russell Wilson work.
But I would think Sean Payton made that decision to go to Denver with the intentions on using Russell Wilson. He wanted Russell Wilson. Why would he go to Denver? Russell Wilson was already there. It's not like he was there and the GM put Russell Wilson on him and said, you're going to take this quarterback.
Well, the GM is on the hot seat, so he has to make Russell Wilson work. So how do you make Russell Wilson work? You go out and spend a lot of money on a coach.
But Sean Payton doesn't have to take the job. He can say, I don't want to coach this guy. And I think that was the feeling in New Orleans when Drew Brees retired. They wouldn't let him use the quarterbacks he wanted. So he quit.
I agree. Without him coming out saying I quit because
without him saying
to stay face, and I agree with that. But again, right? Let's just be real. This is a quarterback, Russell Wilson, that Sean Payton has never really had type of quarterback, and a quarterback that's kind of like, I mean, Drew Brees is completely opposite than
is he?
Drew Brees is a winner. Hold on. Hold on. Let's not hold on. Drew Brees, and this is where y'all got to go back and listen to what I said, because I said the crazy fans of the Denver Broncos thinking that Sean Payton is going to be the quarterback whisperer. That's number one. Number two, I said that they are making a comparison, which is a crazy ass comparison between Russell and Brees. Brees is a winner. Russ didn't win. Only
Russell
reason
did
Russ
win.
won.
Russell
did
win.
Russell
did win.
Hold on, but he won with a top-notch defense. Stop. Phil, let's not act like he didn't win with a top-notch defense.
He won without a top-notch defense too. When that defense got old and they started getting rid of him, they still were going to the playoffs with Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson has been to 2 Super Bowls.
He's been to 2
Super Bowls. Drew Brees has only been to 1.
Yes, but Drew Brees been tearing up them records too.
Yeah. And I think
He's
Sean
been an
Payton will do this.
offensive
Think
juggernaut.
about this. Russell Wilson was doing that with Pete Carroll as his head coach, not an offensive guy.
And no names on offense.
Yeah. So I think, and your point is valid that he hasn't put up, star-like numbers, extraordinary numbers like Drew Brees, but he's kind of the same type of quarterback, a short guy. He throws.
He's not as accurate.
Keep
he's
going.
Not as
keep showing your disrespect for Breeze. No, let him go, Phil.
Come on.
Phil,
he's a short.
You can't compare him. You can't compare
him. Let him go, Phil. Let him go. Keep going, Marv.
Listen, so he's a short quarterback, just like Drew Brees. So he understands how to coach short quarterbacks, and he knows how to prepare outlets for him. Look, when Drew Brees was the quarterback for the Saints, one of the things that Sean Payton set him up with a lot of is passes to the running backs. Before Alvin Kamara, there was Pierre Thomas, there was Reggie Bush, it was Darren Scrobes. There was always some running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield for his short quarterback. You're going to see a lot of that from Sean Payton. You're going to see a lot of screen passes. You're going to see a lot of swing passes. You're going to see a lot of choice routes from the running back. That is a Sean Payton offense. And since Sean Payton's left, Alvin Kamara's numbers hasn't been the same.
I agree with that notion, Omar, but this is the difference.
His number wasn't the same when he was there. Keep going.
Drew Brees is an accurate quarterback that threw a lot of out routes into the running back. Russell Wilson is a run around in the pocket. Either he's going to rush or he's going to throw the ball deep. He cannot throw the in-between ball. It's two different quarterbacks, Marv. And Russell Wilson is not that accurate. He's not. Drew Brees was the most accurate quarterback we've seen in this NFL. Russell Wilson, it's either he's running for his life, trying to get the extra play, throw it deep.
This is not to say Drew Brees was not a good quarterback. It was a
great quarterback.
He's a great quarterback, but his accuracy.
Listen to me. Let me make my point before you start arguing it.
Okay.
It was the marriage of Sean Payton and Drew Brees. You may not remember Drew Brees before he came to the Saints and was with Sean Payton. He was a Charger.
He was a Charger, yeah.
And he was considered a dink and dunk quarterback. They didn't believe he could throw the ball down the field. Don would say that this dude can't throw 20 yards down the field. He relied heavily on LaDainian Thomas. He wasn't great.
But Sean Payton, everything that you said about him, he moves that pocket and gives him those windows.
He gives him the opportunities. You're absolutely right. A lot of that is Sean Payton.
Quarterback. That ain't a Russell Wilson as a quarterback.
Dude, Sean Payton is going to get the best out of it.
Let me tell you why. Russell Wilson has got to move out of the pocket to be able to see anything outside of the field.
Did you think Drew Brees and Russell Wilson are the same height? They're 6 feet tall.
But the difference is Drew Brees had an outright to throw out to the running backs. He can throw a quick 5 slant out to the tight end. Right?
He had guys like Reggie Bush and Kamara. Who does Russ have in order to?
Yeah, exactly. Russell Wilson ain't doing that.
Sean Payton is going to get you the running backs that catch out of the backfield. That's what he does.
And a struggling offensive line. And a struggling offensive line at that.
You're talking about the team from last season, dude. He has already invested a lot in the offensive line. He's going to make this team. Look, everybody knows he's going to improve the offense. I don't know why you just don't believe that Sean Payton can't improve the offense. He's going to improve the offense.
I'm not saying it's a Sean Payton problem.
In 1 year.
I think it's a Russell Wilson problem.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be able to make all those changes in 1 year, Mark.
Yeah. He's got to make an adjustment from last year's.
I don't know. Team. He already said this was one of the worst coaching jobs I've ever seen. I
agree.
I agree.
We can all say that this guy had 1 season in Denver and they got rid of him. It was a horrible coaching job. He even said it. So
they didn't even finish the season.
I'm not saying that the Broncos are going to win 14 games, Phil. Relax. They're going to win 9. I mean, that's really just 500. It's an improvement on last end.
I don't think they're better than the Chargers.
And that's where we have
and that's your opinion.
Okay.
This is my pick.
Too far off, Mark. Okay. This is the first time you've been this far off. You didn't took the Phil. You playing Phil's role today. This is a bold prediction, Mark.
Yeah, just say it's a bold prediction. Just say it's a bold move.
that they're going to be second in the division with nine
That's
wins?
a
Yeah,
bold
that's bold.
prediction, Mark.
It's not like
bold.
I said the Dolphins are going to win the division, the AFC East, and the Bills
said
are
it
going to
was a
win
bold-
8 games.
I said it was a bold
now,
pick.
if anything is ridiculous,
It's
that
not
is a ridiculous pick.
No,
That
I
the-
said it's bold. It said it's a bold. move.
Even our
You ain't
listeners
say
say
that was
don't.
bold. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was
Phil.
ridiculous. I didn't say it was bold. I
They
said it was
didn't say- no.
ridiculous.
Whoever said Bill
And all our
Belichick's getting fired
listeners,
was ridiculous.
left comments saying, "Man, that's a dumb pick.
No, it's
The
not.
Bills are going to win 8 games, really?"
No, that's not what they said.
But you
they
know
said
what,
Bill Belichick. They said Bill Belichick. Don't,
Hey, but
don't,
you know
don't
what? You
barrage
know what,
that.
man? This is what I want. I need our fans to start chiming in, man. Because right now, I hate being right all the time, and I hate thinking I'm right. I need the fans to listen. Go to YouTube. Underneath of there, it has a comment section. Please go in there and tell Marv when Marv was wrong.
Oh yeah,
I need that, man.
I think
Phil was wrong. Well, we already know Phil was wrong.
Phil's
That's why he
always
got
wrong.
He giving Sean Payton a lot of love. He giving Sean Payton a lot of love.
He acting like Sean Payton still got a Saints uniform on, man.
What? It's hilarious to be. I said they're going to win 9 games. I already told y'all before they're not going to the playoffs. It's not going to be enough to go to the playoffs. I already said this. Looking at the schedule, this makes sense.
So you got one
Marv,
team coming out this
you
division.
still get no. I'm gonna tell you what it is, Phil. He's scared to say it, but I'm gonna say it. The Broncos, trash.
See, what's funny to me is that in our earlier discussions, Phil was all on the Broncos. He convinced me. No, this season, he had me convinced. I was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe I'm overlooking the Broncos. I said, let me take a look at this. And I kind of agree with you. I was like,
I got some concerns, man. I got some concerns.
Now look at this.
Yeah, that was Walmart money.
Yeah.
That was not spent
now
correctly.
he's reneged on this, and
I've got
he's
some
gonna tell me that
concerns.
the Broncos are terrible. Sean Payton.
I didn't say they were team.
And Russell Wilson has Don want me to believe Russell Wilson has never won anything. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I mean, come on, guys. Are you serious? You talking about a Super Bowl winning quarterback is not a good quarterback anymore.
I said I'm spewing facts. I said I have concerns about the offensive line, and I have concerns about Russell Wilson right now.
Okay.
I don't think like I agree with Don.
Man.
I don't think Sean Payton's going to turn it around in a year. And I would love for people in the comments, like you guys have been doing it, to tell me I'm wrong. Just tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't think Sean Payton's going to fix this in 1 year. It's going to take another season.
Okay, and that's your opinion.
So you say he's going to be coach of the year?
At what 9 wins?
Hey,
9 wins is going to be coach of the year?
Yes, because that team is trash.
I think the coach of the year is going to be who's the coach of the Giants? Brian Davis.
No, he's not winning. He's not winning coach of the year.
Because I already got him. I mean, you guys are more angry about the Broncos coming in second than my pick of the Giants winning the NFC East.
Coach of the year is going to be Bill Belichick.
Oh, man. All right, let's wrap this thing up, man. See, it's completely off the rails. To our listeners out there, thanks for joining us again. We do this thing every week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Man, you just take things too far.